After Troy Steiner's win, we now have his brother Terry Steiner. He too lives in Madison, Wisconsin. Wrestled at the University of Iowa. Takes on Timoraz Ouroussov, the silver medal at the World Cup. Lost his match to Lincoln McElravy, who got the gold. And now on the leg is Steiner.
He's going to get it.
Terry Steiner in blue scores the first point of this match at 152. Ouroussov is turned. Another point for the American. It is 2-0.
Young wrestlers, did you see the way Terry Steiner motioned, giving ground with that whizzer so that it became basically ineffective, and that's why he eventually was able to turn that single leg into a takedown. And best of all, he kept it going. He didn't take that break to look for a turn. He went right into a turn, got another point. He leads 2-0.
Stalemate called by Steve Knipp. The referees are alternating. We've got 2 U.S. referees, 2 Russian referees.
Now let's see if he learns a lesson from his brother and stays on offense. Do what works for you. Don't let down. To watch the Russians is really unique. I mean, they come out, they're soft, they make contact. There's nothing really explosive about them until they decide to act. And sometimes that's a tough feel. You feel as though, what can you do here? And yet that is the way they wrestle. That is their keen setup. That is what's so much. That's why so many of the Americans need the experience against them in order to learn how to wrestle them.
Tom Brand, you were cautioning the Steiners and alerting us that the one problem they have is a slow start, and they come out, both of them come out with quick points. That could be key.
I think they've been working on it. They both look good right now. Terry's looking pretty good here, even as the match goes on, even after that first 2-point takedown and then the 1-point ankle ace.
These two have met before. Terry Steiner won 2-0.
Well, that is 2-0 right now.
2-on-1 by Ouroussov, trying to work Steiner's upper body, put him out of position, and he'll have the opportunity to put Steiner down with a passivity call, and does.
There is Troy Steiner coming off the first U.S. win.
Terry keeping low to the mat now. Watch for a gut wrench here by the Russian. Ouroussov will try to lift and then drive a knee under like that. Try to rock Steiner over.
Watch the shoulders of Steiner. Did not get them turned, so no points.
And immediately he's looking for a leg lace. Steiner realizing that coming, reaching back, trying to keep him from locking hands.
Steiner having to do it all by feel. He cannot see his opponent at this point. Just trying to keep that wall up. Hang on for the stalemate. And Steve Knipp does give them the stalemate. They'll start from their feet.
Being on bottom is an active position. It isn't present yourself and let him do what he wants and try to stop it. It's being active. Don't give him any position to operate on.
If you're used to NCAA scoring, this is a bit different. 1 point is given for a takedown, reverse, and escape. But there is a 3-point move. If you take your opponent from their feet to their back, it's a 3-point move. There's also a 5-point move if you add a little altitude to that throw.
The big banger, as we say in Greco. And, of course, you get a 2-point move when you're on the mat and turn on the mat. You can get either 2 for full exposure, 1 for hand-to-hand exposure.
As we've seen quite a few times already tonight, early in this. Terry Steiner trying the gut wrench on Ouroussov. Couldn't do it. Now goes up top to the shoulder.
Ooh. Power Nelson there. If he had the other leg in, he might have been able to extend Ouroussov, break him down to his stomach, and get the turn. Tremendous crank pressure now on the Russian.
This is where, that's what I talked about earlier. This is where both Steiners are real tough.
I had a coach once, he says, if you can't turn them, hurt them. Make them pay a price for being on the bottom. And that's exactly what Steiner's doing to Ouroussov now. He didn't score points, but he might have taken a little of the fight out of that Russian with that attempt.
I think Mark Manning, the U.S. coach, is even impressed with Timoraz Ouroussov just being able to hang on down below and not being turned by Terry Steiner. 1:04 to go. It's a 2-0 USA score. But they do need 3 points to call it a match.
Otherwise, they go into overtime, and we have seen on occasion a wrestler leading 2-0 going into overtime, losing 3-2.
We saw it in the World Cup. Dan St. John came back 4-2 after being down, not scoring any points in regulation.
Seemed Ouroussov there caught Steiner leading a little bit too much, snapped him off balance twice, but was unable to follow up. Let's see if Steiner now's got it in pure defense. Looks as though he might get hit with a passivity. He does.
So now it'll be Teimuraz Ouroussov putting Terry Steiner down.
One advantage for Steiner. If he feels himself going, he can go with it and give up a 1-point turn rather than a 2 and save it there. But it looks as though Ourousov's going to go for an ankle lace and go for a 2-point move with it. Looks like he's got it hooked up.
Final seconds. Trying to tie it is Ouroussov. He now has 7 seconds to turn Terry Steiner. Steiner with that left hand.
Great job by Steiner to counter that.
End of regulation. Terry Steiner leads 2-0. And they will go to 3-minute overtime. Back with more from Waterloo in just a moment.